Just like the last video, I have less than 1.5 hours before I have to go and catch my taxi to the airport. So let's make this quick. So this final week was when we finalized the prep for our 2 short films, and of course, we went to go and shoot it on Wednesday. But before all that happened, on Monday we had 2 different tutors come in to teach us new things. Firstly, we had Caitlin Tanner, who is a hair and makeup artist, who came in to share about her experience as a makeup artist, and also we shared with her our script ideas, which were now fully written in script form, and we got some feedback from her, as well as from David, as the stories continued to grow into new things. Caitlin herself is actually going to help us on set, and along with 2 of her other students, so that all the hair and makeup would be all settled and we could basically pitch anything that we wanted, and they would get it done, including a zombie. In the afternoon, we had a sound masterclass with professional sound recorders Ned Hartz, who brought in all of his sound equipment, including a field recorder and his boom mic. And he also asked for volunteers, or did we volunteer to be boom operators for each other's short films. So I volunteered to be the boom operator for Sunday Roast, and Esther volunteered to be the boom operator for Trust. It's now about 10:40 PM. I just completed the second draft of the script, and yeah, you can see I was listening to The Last of Us to get in the mood. David actually said that the script was really well written, and like, man, feels good. That's good to hear. We didn't have a meeting today, but we will probably meet tomorrow. A lot of stuff's probably gonna happen, consolidating and finalizing our pre-production, and we will shoot in 38 hours time, slightly less. On day 7, we were introduced to one of the most important figures that we'll ever have on set with us, which is Jude Campbell, who is a professional first assistant director. He came down to share with us what the role and responsibility of a first AD is on set, and also to break down our production into what we need to prepare and consider the day right before our shoot. Of course, in a normal circumstance, you don't really have this process happen one day before the shoot, but this is kind of a special case. And finally, on day 8 was shoot day, and okay. So each film had 5 hours to be shot, and the first one in the morning was Sunday Roast. However, all the lighting and camera equipment was somewhere else. It was not on set yet, and we had to spend quite a bit of time transporting all of that in. And I believe soon after, the actors were ready for rehearsal. They rehearsed, they blocked, and we set up the cameras, and we began shooting.
Take one.
Now both of these productions were a really interesting blend, because us as students were the ones who were in control and taking charge, but we were also aided by professionals that were better than us in every way, who were there to just assist us and like make great suggestions. And yeah, one of the things that David told us was that we should surround ourselves with people who are better than us, because they are more knowledgeable than us in the things that we don't know about, and they are our best friends who can make suggestions on how to make things better. And I really felt that when it came to hand over the shoot to our team, Trust. Now, I've mentioned before that like coming into this course, I didn't really have the best state of mind, and I also realized that there were a few things about myself that I believed in which were kind of negative in nature. That I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't a competent writer or a director. And working with actors that were like older than me and professional and more experienced, and I've probably worked with more competent directors, was a really intimidating factor. And also having all these like professional crew members who were asking me questions and asking other people questions about like what should this be like or what should that be like, and whether we want to make this thing like that or like this. Like having to make all these decisions and not knowing whether I was going to make the right decisions, that was what paralyzed me the most. There was a moment early on in the shoot when David approached me and asked me, "How are you feeling, Damien?" And I was like, I just straight up told him that I don't know what I'm doing. The truth is, I sort of knew what I was doing. I just didn't believe that I might be doing the right things. But David reassured me that yes, I knew what I was doing and things were getting done and things were happening, and all I have to do is to stay focused and stay on task. something like that. And he gave me suggestions on what to think about and what to say to the actors and other story considerations. Everyone there was of so much help, and everyone was really supportive. The actors were really easy to work with and they got the script immediately. But with the time crunch and with the ambitious things that we want to do with our script, there were obvious limitations. And that was when Jude Campbell, the first assistant director of the previous film, came in and he kind of just ran the shoot for us. In a way, that's what first ADs are supposed to do. But he lifted us up. He lifted the entire production and he was like, alright, we can't do this, but let's do it like that. How's that? We need to do this by then. And he helped us block our climactic action scene, including how the actors were going to struggle, how the camera was going to follow them, and how long the shots could work for.
Stay!
And just kind of watching all this and being like, holy shit. I mean, this is technically not in my control, but it's also kind of what I want. Holy crap. Like, we could not have made this without the help of Jude. Jude Campbell is an absolute legend. First assistant directors are an absolute legend. Like, you hear stories about first ADs being professional assholes, but Jude, my man, he was so cool. Just watching him work and be like so on point, and knowing what to do in every single moment and making sure that the ball was rolling all the time. That was like immensely helpful, inspiring, a bit scary to see that someone else was taking control, but in a way it was all in service of what we wanted, which was the coolest part. Eventually, we made it in time, we wrapped, and we ran for the bus.
It was like getting more and more epic, and I was like, what the fuck?
It looks damn good, yeah.
Yeah. Then I can't imagine looking at what we are seeing through your screen, because all mine was like just the peaking and that stupid bar thing. Now it's just like, oh shit, you gotta make that edit look good, man. I put my fucking back through its paces today.
Naked said the camera was lighter than his laptop.
No. Fuck that, no. No.
Wait, so how heavy is his laptop?
Maybe it was around that weight, but like
without the lens.
Jeez. Yeah, without the lens. The lens was like,
well, the lens is big, man.
Now once the shoot was over, it wasn't the end of the film just yet. We had 2 more days left with Pinewood and CMS, and we spent them editing. We met with Gareth Maynards, who is a professional editor, and he taught us Avid, which was really kind of jarring for all of us because we all are really used to Premiere, but learning Avid was kind of like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back situation for a lot of us. Now the funny thing is, on the first day of editing, I kind of like dozed off, and then when I woke up, David said, actually, I should sleep and not look at the cut, because as a director I would be attached to what I think should be happening and how I think like the film should be edited. What I should be doing is just leaving it to someone else's hands to put the story together and come into it later with a fresh pair of eyes. And it was really funny to be told that the right thing to do was to sleep in the chair while the other people in the room did all the work. The next day we had a hasty final cut. There wasn't enough time to perfect the film. We barely had enough time to touch sound and music, and we didn't really have time to color grade at all.
Okay, so you guys can relax for a little while. But there's one other thing. When we're in the cinema, I'm going to ask you as a group to introduce your film. Are we excited?
No. I don't know actually.
And with the clock ticking for our screening in the John Barry Cinema, we headed over and sat down, and before our films were screened, we were presented with certificates which certified our completion of this course.
The one thing that everyone said that was in common was the passion that you have and you communicated about what you do. Keep doing that. You've got to keep practicing your skills and keep telling your stories. So I'd like to invite the marvelous David to come up with me.
yeah, David.
And after that, our films were screened. I'll be completely honest, I wasn't completely satisfied with how the screening turned out. In a way, because we also didn't have enough time to make it kind of the ultimate cut that we wanted, but also because not touching it made me think about all the ways I wanted to try and make it better, like different edits and sound design, and like maybe having time to color grade might have helped it. But the end result that was screened to everyone in that theatre was quite amazing. For less than 2 weeks of work, coming out of the script, doing all the prep work, and shooting it in one day with the help of industry experts on set, it was still, in a way, quite an amazing sight to see. After the screening, we went to the Mary Poppins Garden in classic British weather to take some photos.
Where they're flying the kite. Here. And then the fair is there. The fun fair was in that bit. My feet are soaking. Quickly, quickly, go on the brink.
And in the middle of all that, it was Raceman's birthday in Singapore time.
Happy birthday to Raceman! Happy birthday to you!
Someone's calling me, my mom is calling me.
And we ran to bus for the last time, saying goodbye to Pinewoods for what might be a long time.
Bye bye Woods!
Bye bye, Woods.
But there were still a few loose ends.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yep.
Yeah!
Just so you know, like next up in here, there's like this really small, like independent, low-budget movie called Star Wars. So that's the next film which is going to be screened on here.